So you want to know which assault rifle is better, the Gold FAMAS or the Gold SCAR. What is up guys, Flam back another video, and today I wanted to compare the Gold Burst Assault Rifle versus the Gold Full Auto Assault Rifle. For a while I've been considering remaking my Blue Burst versus Gold SCAR video because a lot has changed since I made that video. First shot accuracy was introduced into the game, as well as the fact that the burst was actually nerfed. It used to do 2.5 times headshot damage, whereas now it only does 2 times headshot damage. So having the epic and legendary versions of the assault rifle being put into the game means I get to go over my comparison again and re-talk about some points that I wasn't able to make in my old video. To start off this video, let's talk about what is different with the epic and legendary burst rifles compared to the old, the white, the green, and the blue burst. Well, for damage, what it comes down to, white burst is 27, green burst is 29, blue burst is 30, the epic burst is 32, and the gold burst or the legendary burst is 33. Now, like I mentioned earlier, all headshot damage is 2 times across the board, so you just take the body shot damage and you multiply it by 2. Now, does this increase in damage mean a big difference? Because when you look at something like the assault rifle categories, the full auto assault rifles, what you notice is that with the SCARs, the epic and legendary ARs, is that they do so much more damage that it actually reduces the time to kill on those weapons. For instance, if you are fighting someone who's 100 health, with an epic and legendary SCAR, it only takes 3 shots to the body to kill someone, whereas with all of their ARs, it takes 4 shots. So what about the burst rifles? What about the legendary and the epic burst rifles? Is there a big difference in time to kill? Unfortunately, not really. When you're looking at a decrease in time to kill, you're usually looking for a decrease at the most common points of somebody's health. So the 2 most common points in Fortnite is someone being 100 health and someone being 200 health. 200 is the max, 100 is what you start with. So when it comes to body shot damage as well as headshot damage, none of the burst rifles require different number of shots in order to kill at 100 health or 200 health. At 200 health, a white burst does actually require 1 more shot, but that is the only time that there's actually a difference. Now, of course, at very specific health points, there will be a difference in time to kill. Let's say someone is 91 to 99 health. Then if you're using something like the epic or the legendary burst rifles, they're going to die faster because you only need 1 burst, whereas with the blue burst, the white burst, and the green burst, you'd actually need to take a second burst in order to kill somebody. So at 100 health, you're not going to see a difference in time to kill, which honestly makes sense because being able to 1 burst somebody to the body would be a little bit overpowered. I wouldn't say it'd be insanely overpowered because it is difficult to do, but it would be pretty intense to be able to really quickly 1 burst somebody and just have them instantly die from all body shots. So since there isn't a big difference in time to kill with this weapon, what are the other big differences? Well, number 1 being reload speed. From the white burst to the gold burst, there's a difference in 0.6 seconds when it comes to reload speed. So nothing insane, but that is a sizable chunk. 0.6 of a second is a reasonable amount of time to cut off that would really improve your overall flow and effectiveness. Now, the other thing that is different is that there's less bloom with the gold burst than there is with every other burst. Now, some of you might not know what bloom is, so let's go ahead and go over it real quick. As you can see on screen, I am zoomed in all the way to the center of the screen where we have your reticle, which is the dot right in the center of your screen, and then we have the 4 lines around your reticle. Those 4 lines signify where your bullet can actually go. Anywhere inside of those 4 lines is a possibility. It doesn't always go exactly where your reticle is unless you are holding 100% still and using the benefit of initial shot accuracy. So as I said earlier, the higher of a rarity of a weapon you have, the less bloom you're going to experience. Right here is a purple burst assault rifle, and then as you can see when I switch to a green burst assault rifle, the reticle size increases. So since the purple burst assault rifle has the lines closer to the middle, closer to your reticle, that means there's less chance of your bullet going all over the place, and more likely it's going to go more in the general area of where you want it to go. So this is something that I actually didn't know about Fortnite, and that is the higher the rarity, the less bloom you have, and this goes for every single weapon in the game. Right here is a SCAR versus a normal white AR. You can see the decrease in size, and right here is a white tactical shotgun versus a blue tactical shotgun, and as you can see, the blue tactical shotgun is more accurate.
Whoa, that's a genuinely shocking fact.
Couldn't have said it better myself, iDubbbz. That actually makes a lot of sense because I noticed that when I use the blue tactical shotgun, I feel like I'm a lot more consistent, but I always just believed it was a placebo effect. So that's definitely something that is awesome that I didn't really know, and hey, the more you know. So now that we've established the differences between these weapons, let's take a very specific look at the Gold Scar versus the Gold FAMAS, which is also known as the Gold Burst Assault Rifle. And since we've already been talking about bloom, let's look at a comparison between the Gold Scar and the Gold FAMAS. Right here is the Gold FAMAS, the Gold Burst Rifle, and right here is the Gold Scar. So as you can see, there's actually less bloom on the Gold Burst Rifle compared to the Gold Scar. However, that is not even nearly breaking the surface at the in-depthness of these two weapons, and why the Scar is actually more accurate, even though at a resting state, at a hipfire resting state, the Gold Burst is a little bit more accurate. And that is because of how these weapons work. The burst rifle, as is blatantly stated by the name, is a burst weapon. It fires 3 shots very quickly, and then it has a long waiting time before you can fire that weapon again. Now there are 2 ways that bloom is increased in Fortnite. If you're strafing, your bloom is going to be increased. The lines around your reticle are going to go a lot bigger and a lot wider, and also when you are firing your weapon for a long period of time, the bloom is also going to increase as well. Now of course, since moving around and being more agile increases the bloom, holding still is going to decrease it. And if you hold 100% still and you do not strafe, you do not move your legs whatsoever, you will actually have initial shot accuracy, which means that your first bullet will be 100% accurate. Now a lot of people, when they think about initial shot accuracy, think that that makes the burst even better, because that means that for the first 3 bullets, you're going to be 100% accurate. And that is not the case. The very millisecond that you fire your burst rifle, the very second that first bullet leaves the burst rifle, all of a sudden the lines around the reticle spread out and you have bloom again. So the next 2 bullets of your burst assault rifle are not going to be 100% accurate. They're going to be randomized. Those bullets can go anywhere inside of those 4 lines. So like I mentioned earlier, the longer you fire a weapon consistently, so for something like a full auto assault rifle, if you hold down the trigger, there's going to be more bloom. Well, right here on the screen is the maximum point of bloom on a green AR. That is how much bloom you're going to experience right before you fire the 30th bullet in the magazine of the green assault rifle. Right here is the bloom right before you fire the 3rd shot of your first burst of a green burst assault rifle. Not too accurate, right? There's a pretty big difference between this and this. There's a lot more bloom with this, whereas there's a lot less bloom with this, and this one has been firing for 29 bullets. So right now I want to show you guys a comparison between using initial first shot accuracy with a full auto assault rifle compared to using initial first shot accuracy with a burst assault rifle. So right here is me trying to get the most out of using only first shot accuracy bullets. That means that I'm firing the weapon, I'm waiting until the lines around the reticle go all the way down to where the reticle is, meaning that my bullet is going to be 100% accurate. And then right here is where the burst is, where I'm trying as hard as I can to fire the burst, get initial shot accuracy, wait for initial shot accuracy again, and then fire the burst again. As you can very clearly tell, it takes an extensive period of time before you are able to maximize first shot accuracy with the burst rifle compared to the full auto assault rifle. And with every time you are getting first shot accuracy with the burst, you're only getting 1 bullet out of it, even though you are firing 3. So those other 2 bullets do still have a chance to hit somebody, but is not 100% guaranteed. So for this reason, the Gold Scar, the Gold Full Auto Assault Rifle, is going to be way more effective at extremely long ranges. When someone is extremely far away, they are a lot smaller, meaning that you want your bullets to be 100% accurate, so that there's a lot higher chance of you hitting them. Even if your bloom is very, very small, but it's not 100% accurate, at very far distances, the person is going to be so small that the odds of hitting them are already very, very slim, and then you add bloom into the play and it's going to be very difficult. So if you're trying to pelt someone from across the map, I would definitely give the edge to the Gold Scar over the Gold Burst. Now for me, first shot accuracy isn't too big of a deal because I don't use it too often. The only times I really use first shot accuracy is if I'm pelting somebody in the back who does not know I'm there. Because for me, if I'm fighting someone directly and they know where I am, I don't really want to hold still because that's more of a chance they're going to snipe me or just hit more of their shots because I'm just not a moving target. I'd rather have slightly less accurate bullets than be a sitting duck. So the Scar is the better option long range, but what about close and medium range? This is where I personally think the Burst is very dominant. If you guys watched my Blue Burst versus Gold Scar comparison video, one of the main things I talked about is how with Burst, you are able to fire 3 bullets very quickly, and then get back into cover. That is how you are meant to use a burst. That combined with the main aspect of building means that you can fire a burst shot and create your own cover. You can fire a burst, throw up a wall, block any shots, and then do the same thing over and over and over again. So when you're asking yourself, should I use the gold burst or should I use the gold scar, you should ask yourself, how good of a builder am I? If I'm not a very effective builder, I should probably go with the scar, because it takes 76 hundredths of a second after you pull the trigger on the burst before you can actually fire another burst shot. With the assault rifle, you can actually fire 5 bullets in the same amount of time that it takes you to fire 3 bullets with the burst assault rifle. Now, if you are not a good builder, I would not say don't use the burst. Honestly, I would tell you use the burst and use the burst only, because it's going to make you a much more effective builder. If you get used to using the burst and having to build all the time, you're going to become a much more skilled player and become way more dominant in Fortnite, because Fortnite is all about building. So if you're looking to improve and become a better builder, I would highly suggest using the burst rifle over the full auto assault rifle. Now, even though it will make you a better builder, it doesn't mean that the burst is still the better weapon. There's a lot of differences between these weapons you have to consider. Like I mentioned in my other video, you have to consider the ability to shoot down people's builds, because with the burst rifle, you are not nearly as effective at shooting out people's builds. So if someone is rushing you with ramps and you try to shoot them down with the burst rifle, you're not going to be too effective. You can still be very effective with the burst rifle, but you have to be using it as a combination. Firing the first 3 bullets with your burst and then quickly switching to something like a shotgun and trying to shotgun down their builds is something that can still be very effective. However, just using something like a gold scar would be the best overall choice when you are trying to do that very specific task. Now, something else you have to consider is how good is my initial accuracy? How good am I at being able to pull out my weapon, aiming the reticle right on someone's head, and being able to be very, very accurate? For me personally, I'm not very good at that. For those of you guys who do not know me, I have very poor eyesight, so at extremely long ranges, it's difficult for me to be able to align my reticle directly to someone's body, so using something like a full auto assault rifle means I can fine tune my aim a lot more effectively and then be able to try to mow them down. Whereas with something like the burst rifle, you have to be accurate immediately, because if you aren't, then you have the potential to miss 3 whole bullets, and then you can't fire for another 76 hundredths of a second. So the penalty for having poor aim with the burst rifle is way higher than the penalty for having poor aim with a scar or a full auto assault rifle. So there are a lot of downsides, there are a lot of upsides to both weapons. One of the biggest upsides to the burst is the fact that you can fire 3 shots and then be behind cover before the person can even react. If you are a very, very quick shot and you are very, very accurate, the burst can absolutely dominate someone who is not prepared. Being able to fire that quick 3 shots, get behind cover, and then being able to prevent any further damage is absolutely incredible. I said it in my previous video and I will say it again in this video. The burst has a higher potential. The potential to be more effective with the burst rifle, even the white burst rifle, is way higher than the potential with the gold scar. The ability to fire 1 burst, 3 bullets, and then get behind cover before the other person can even shoot 2 AR bullets means that you have the potential to do more damage to that person than that person has the potential to do damage to you. But like I mentioned earlier, you are taking into consideration the fact that there is more bloom with the burst rifle, especially for the 2nd and 3rd bullets. So which weapon do I personally think is better? Well, I think as a 1v1 weapon, as a weapon against you and one other player, I would say that the burst rifle is the better weapon. Is that the weapon that I personally use? No, I personally use the scar. And why do I use the scar? Well, I think the scar is the superior weapon when going for high kill games. The time to kill on the scar is faster, and its ability to absolutely mow down through anybody's builds is way more effective. And when I'm trying to solely push somebody and aggressively try to take them out, I want to just absolutely mow through everything they put down. And that is something that this scar is very, very effective at. So when it comes to going for high kill games, I would personally say the gold scar is superior. But when it comes to playing passively and going solely for the win, I would say that the gold FAMAS is the better weapon. But that is my personal opinion on the gold scar versus the gold burst rifle debate. Which one is better? It comes down a lot to personal preference, but definitely let me know which one you guys prefer in the comments down below. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope this video was informative, and I will catch you in my next one.